Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good weekend, and welcome back to Robocop Rogue City, where there have been some developments.
Top story. Wendell Antonovsky, the infamous new guy in town, has been apprehended today. Robocop was able to capture Antonovsky, as reported by an eyewitness, Channel 9's Samantha Ortiz. Unfortunately, no footage of the event has emerged. Robocop's efforts have prompted a public debate regarding his status as a human being. Here's a statement from John Mills, a candidate for the mayor's office in the upcoming mayoral election.
Today, Robocop has done more for this city than the current administration has done in its entire term. That's why I feel that it's time to give something back. If elected, I will be advocating to grant Robocop the status of a free, living human being. That's right. Vote Mills, vote Robocop.
Staying on the topic of OCP, the CEO of Omni Consumer Products suffered a heart attack earlier today. The self-made entrepreneur has been taken to the Gibson Memorial Hospital for observation. His condition is stable. We wish you a speedy recovery.
So, Antonovsky busted, case closed, game over. Yeah, not quite.
Wendell's in prison and the old man is on his way out? Could this day be any better? Geez, Steph, don't you have any respect? Here's the man of the hour.
Congrats, Robo! You caught that bastard for what he did to Lewis.
We are not done yet.
Murphy, come talk to me after you're done with your evaluation.
You see, we still don't know why Antonovsky was collecting bodies from the morgue, although we do know he was doing it for OCP. And I don't think it's a coincidence that OCP's president, the old man, is dying, and OCP's candidate for the position of mayor of Detroit is promising that if he's elected, he's going to push for full legal rights for cyborgs.
Actually, I do. Still not used to working with one hand.
You'll eventually forget about being shot the first time.
Yeah? When?
When you get shot the second time.
What?
I'm seeing a connection here. The fact that the mission that we're currently on is called Not Over Yet seems like a bit of a giveaway as well.
In my office. Catching Antonovsky put a smile on a lot of people's faces, but we still have one unresolved issue.
Catching his accomplice at OCP.
Exactly. And when everyone realizes that OCP's been sabotaging us the whole time, mentions of a strike will come up again. We don't want that. So who do you think it is? Becker is an obvious choice. I just don't know if that's not too obvious. Do you suspect that Becker is on Wendell's payroll?
Nope, not at all. He was just as surprised as everybody else that there was no money in the bank that the vultures tried to rob, but the game doesn't appear to be giving me any options.
All signs point to him.
They do, don't they? And that leads me to another thing. Becker wanted to meet you. You're supposed to show up at some old factory. And he wanted you to come alone.
A rather unusual request.
That's why I'll get Officer Washington to listen in. By the way, how do you feel about him? Can you trust him?
Yeah, Washington's a good kid. He is doing his best.
Despite shortcomings, he is trying his best.
That makes me a little less anxious about signing him up to look after you. I'm skeptical of anyone that OCP tries to push on us. First Becker, then Washington, and let's not forget about Dr. Blanche. Speaking of which, Dr. Blanche, is she being helpful? Are you getting anything out of those sessions?
Oh yeah, Blanche is one of the good guys.
She is an enormous help. She listens.
Good. That's good to hear. Sometimes that's all it takes.
I will meet Becker, but there is a place I will visit first.
Sure thing. In the meantime, I'll brief your overseer.
It's kind of weird that the game keeps trying to push the idea on me that Becker was Wendell's associate or accomplice at OCP. Because there hasn't been a single piece of evidence to indicate that. I mean, he's a scumbag. He's just your typical OCP scumbag. Doing typical OCP scumbag things.
But it was too heavy.
What's this? Brand new healthcare. Can't afford your treatment? If you own a property that can be donated to OCP, we can provide you with health insurance.
Pulled a hamstring because of that.
This actually happens. And it's being presented as satire. Oh well. Anyway, what were we on about? Oh yes, Becker, an OCP. Well, it's not completely true to say that there isn't any actual evidence connecting him to Antonovsky, although this isn't even evidence, it's just a vague suspicion. And it's to do with a lighter that Wendell uses to cause me to glitch out.
Wait, why are you asking me about my liver and kidneys? They shot me in the leg.
We can offer you a higher standard of accommodation and additional benefits if you decide to sell.
Just get the bullet out and let me leave.
Yep, there's the satire we play Robocop games for. Oh, looks like we're visiting Lewis first. Okay. I'll expand on what I was talking about with Becker once we're done here. How you doing, Lewis? Oh, she's conscious.
Come on, give me the skinny. I want to know everything.
Ah, Murphy, we started the party a little early. I hope you don't mind.
Sorry, partner. It's my fault. I just gotta hear what's happening at the precinct.
In usual fashion, OCP's doing everything in its power to keep the police down.
Come on, this is time to celebrate. Lewis is feeling better, Wendell's in jail. Let's party.
If you don't think a strike is brewing...
You know what? Let me get this grouch out of here so that you two can talk.
Okay, I'm going. Feel better, Lewis.
You look well.
I gotta admit, I sleep better knowing that you got that bastard. But what about you? How have you been lately? Did you get any more of those visions?
I still see things.
You know, ever since Antonovsky showed up, they seem to be happening more often, and with greater intensity. I don't think I've ever seen you in such a state. I just know how it affects me, so I can't imagine how it affects you. The fact that he's the brother of one of those guys who shot you.
We should not let the past haunt us.
Easier said than done. His presence reminds me of the day that I left you. I often think that maybe if we didn't split up that day, things would have gone down differently.
You did not pull the trigger. The people responsible have paid for it.
I know. What I don't get is if Wendell is actually the brother of one of your murderers, then why did he come out now? After all this time? And why didn't he kill you when he got a chance?
That is what I intend to find out.
Right. Is it true that he's working with someone from OCP?
That is what he claims.
Damn Becker. We should just lock him up already.
We do not have proof.
Not yet. I don't know if you heard, but the old man ended up in this hospital after his heart attack. I'm not even sure if he's in a state to talk, but it probably wouldn't hurt to check if he knows anything, right? Anyway, I think I need a little rest after all this excitement. Thank you for visiting me. We'll be back to working together in no time.
I look forward to it.
So here's the thing. And I'm quite surprised that nobody in-game seems to have picked up on it yet, but it seems fairly bloody obvious that Wendell's using something in that gold lighter of his to trigger all of these glitches every time the two of us meet.
We're moving the old man to a private clinic in 20 minutes.
Good. I don't think I can last a minute longer in this stench. Hey, where do you think you're going?
To talk to the old man.
You're the only one who actually showed up to pay him a visit. You know he talks about you a lot.
Does he?
Yeah, about you being granted human rights. He's rooting for you. So maybe it's not such a bad idea. You can go in.
I served this town with every drop of my sweat. I always try to improve people's lives. I was good to them. Just like you told me, Mother. We did not see Delta City rise. Michael, is that you? Your halo shines so bright.
Do not worry, you are safe.
Robocop? You came to see me? Like a real friend would? I'm getting close to my final days. And I just can't stand this uncertainty. But you came back from the other side. Tell me, how was it? Was it unbearable?
Fragments of my past life flashed before my eyes, and they keep flashing. Perhaps I am still dead.
You can't be. Regardless of what the papers say. I believe that death isn't the end. You are walking proof of that. Unfortunately, I have not completed all I set out to do. Those saboteurs inside OCP won't let me.
Are you referring to Max Becker?
That weasel seeks not only to destroy you, but also my company. Be wary of him. I know you would never let anyone jeopardize the good name of OCP. Before you go, could you be so kind and give me some painkillers?
Yeah, I'm not fucking around with his meds. I mean, if he has a seizure and dies and I've been pumping him full of opiates, just, yeah, no.
I am not qualified to administer medication.
Please, anyone help me? Guard! I need my painkillers. How much longer do I have to stand this?
Not much longer. The helicopter is on its way.
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious to me that the whole point of what's been going on is to provide the old man
Why the long
with a
face,
cyborg
Robo?
body.
They'll pump him full of OCP's cocktails, and come Monday morning, he'll be back to signing deals as if nothing happened.
And then have his candidate for mayor push to have cyborgs recognised as being people with full legal rights, because at the moment cyborgs are property and property cannot own property. So the old man wants to continue in charge at OCP. Oh shit, it's the mayor.
I am the mayor of this city.
Okay,
Robocop, you have to intervene.
let's get this over with. Hello, Mayor Cusack.
Is there a problem?
This man is preventing me from exposing OCP's hypocrisy. The way this hospital treats its patients is the best depiction of what OCP wants to do with this city. A brave policewoman shot in the line of duty is crammed into a small room, while the old man has a cozy VIP wing of the hospital all to himself. This is what Delta City stands for. Even bigger division.
But the time you had your tonsils removed, you were staying in the VIP wing too.
We're not talking about me. We need to talk about the people. Robocop, please stop this madness. Make a statement. That policewoman is your partner, isn't she? So tell us, doesn't she deserve better?
There are people lying gurneys in the hallways.
A hospital is not an appropriate place for political scuffles.
Just what I expected from an OCP robot. They want to ruin this city. They want to take it away from the citizens, but I won't let them. Say no to Delta City. Vote for the neighborhoods. Vote for Cusack. Okay, guys, we're leaving.
Yeah.
We should find him a cozy, secluded, preferably padded room.
There are people lying in trolleys on the hallways, and Lewis has a private room. I don't think that argument's going to fly, Mr. Mayor. Cusack will do literally anything to hold on to the position of mayor. I mean, he's run the city into bankruptcy for years in a row, and in Robocop 2 he was prepared to do a deal with the manufacturers and distributors of the drug Nuke in order to raise the money that he needed to bail the city out of the bankruptcy hole that he dug it into. Yeah, he's a real piece of work. Speaking of which, Becker.
Did Mr. Becker's intentions become clear? Maybe he wants to thank you for catching Wendell.
I only seek answers.
Becker wants me to come alone to meet him in an old deserted factory outside of town. How is this not suspicious?
You came, so you can follow a command. Surprising.
Surrender, or there will be trouble.
Defiant as usual. Your creators screwed up the job by not installing an off switch.
Well, it doesn't pay to fix their mistakes.
It's cheaper just to replace you. So, Robocop.
Meet the future of law enforcement.
Power like yours, but at the push of a button.
That is why it is not only more effective than you, but infinitely more obedient. That's just a fragment of the speech I had prepared. But hell, this product speaks for itself.
This is really weird, because according to what I was saying, it sounded like I was turning up here expecting to arrest Becker for something. I mean, now we can do him on a charge of assaulting a police officer, I suppose. But I didn't know that when I got here.
UEDs? They're already functional? Mr. Becker bragged about them during my own plan. I'll try to find something that can help. Just give me a sec.
I mean, this has always been Becker's thing. He works for the same division that Dick Jones headed up, the ones that produced the Ed 209 series of droids, and they've always been jealous of Robocop's success because they've been unable to replicate Robocop. They spent some time trying in Robocop 2, but it was always unsuccessful because the test subjects didn't respond well to the cyborg conversion process. They tried to do what they did with Robocop. Take the minds of deceased policemen, soldiers, firefighters, you know, big macho tough guys, and stick them into cyborgs. But they were so overcome with horror at what they'd become that they all suicided. The only way they were able to make it work, and I say make it work in the loosest possible sense of the word, was to instead put the mind of the drug lord Kane inside the Robocop 2 prototype.
Don't get excited. This was just a warm-up.
Robocop, I got something. A headless UED will start shooting other droids. It's a bug that ended a presentation in front of the OCP board. I'm looking at the footage now.
Let us see if they ever got around to fixing it.
Warm-up is over. Get ready for the real strike.
The only reason they were able to achieve even limited success with the Robocop 2 prototype was because the mind that they had installed in the cyborg body, the mind of the drug lord Kane, he was himself a nuke addict, and they thought that they could control him by rationing his access to the drug. They were wrong. So you've always had these two rival divisions within OCP. The robotics division, headed by Dick Jones, although Robocop ended up killing him in the first movie, and the cybernetics division, headed by, well, the guy that Becker just mentioned, Bob Morton, who Dick Jones had assassinated in the first movie, because Robocop was making his Ed 209 heavy enforcement droids look bad. Although he didn't need Robocop's help for that, because the Ed 209 series, while you can mass produce them, they're autonomous. And the problem with the Ed 209s, well, there are a lot of problems with the Ed 209s. They can't manage stairs, for one thing. But also, let's just say their decision-making algorithm is highly suspect. Usually with fatal results for any innocent bystanders. So OCP's cybernetics division, headed by Bob Morton in the first movie, and now apparently headed by Becker, are the only division within OCP that's competing to replace the Detroit Police Department that's had any kind of real success. Robocop himself.
Robocop, I've got some more on the UED project. The old man didn't like it much and wanted to shut it down. He was certain that your brain was what was making you superior to them, so Becker continued to work on the project in secret.
He took a big gamble.
Hey, who are you talking to? Is that Oedipus guy helping you? Well, once I'm done with you, his career is over. You are durable, I'll give you that. You could become a strong part of my urban enforcement unit.
So the big problem that OCP have always had is that even though the only real success they've had in this area is with Robocop himself, the only reason that worked was because Robocop contains the mind of Alex Murphy. And that's unique, and it's Murphy's overriding sense of duty. It's the only thing that allows him to withstand this cyborg conversion process without going insane and suiciding in the same way as all of the other Robocop prototypes. But you can't mass produce that. It's always going to be unique. And so the whole reason Becker very suspiciously invited Robocop to come alone to this deserted factory is to put on a field test and prove But his new droids are not just better than the Ed 209s, but they're better than Robocop 2. And the significant difference here is, well, one, they can actually manage stairs and Ed 209s can't, and also, these things are not autonomous. They're all remote controlled. So, in theory at least, there's no danger of these things doing an Ed 209 and making extremely bad decisions and butchering a whole bunch of innocent bystanders. So it's these things that Becker wants to use to replace the Detroit City Police Department. And this brings us back to the whole issue of Becker being the chief suspect as Antonovsky's accomplice at OCP, because it doesn't hold water. Antonovsky's been farming dead bodies with intact brains, which suggests cyborg conversion. Becker's not interested in cyborgs. He wants to prove that his remote-controlled droids are better. So I'm not seeing any connection here at all between Becker and Antonovsky. It just doesn't make sense.
You and that damn dispatcher. He's telling you how to outplay my UEDs, isn't he?
Becker knows you are helping me.
He gave me access to the OCP data himself. Under these circumstances, I feel obliged to use them any way I see fit.
Until now, I didn't want to damage you too much, but no more.
In fact, the only tiniest, slim, potential connection that I can see between Becker and Antonovsky, it all goes back to the lighter that Antonovsky keeps using. I mean, fairly obviously to me, but nobody in the game seems to have picked up on it yet. To trigger these glitches that Robocop suffers every time he goes into arrest mode and tries to collar Antonovsky. It happens the second Antonovsky triggers this lighter. In fact, when we finally busted him, he lost hold of the lighter, which seems fairly obviously to me the only reason we were actually able to successfully arrest him. And in fact, he made a point of asking to have the lighter returned to him while he was being arrested, claiming it had sentimental family value or some shit like that. And the only possible connection I can see here between Antonovsky's lighter and Becker, and I acknowledge this is a real stretch. I mean, I'm grasping at straws here. But the only hardware that Robocop's had installed in this entire game that lighter or whatever is contained within it might be able to actually make connection with and cause these glitches is the behavioral analysis chip that was inserted into Robocop at the beginning of the game on Becker's orders. And yeah, I mean, it is a real stretch. It's the most circumstantial of evidence. It barely even warrants being described as evidence at all. I mean, there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that whatever Antonovsky's using in that lighter to trigger those glitches can't just do it by itself and doesn't need any kind of connection to anything that may or may not have recently been inserted into Robocop. I mean, I don't think there's any connection between Becker and Antonovsky. I'm just curious as to why the game seems to be working as hard as it is to make me think that there is, and that's really the only possible connection I can think of.
What the hell just happened?
Becker!
Oh, just stop right there.
Great performance, Robocop. And Mr. Becker. It was an excellent presentation. You promised to show me a reliable remedy for this crime wave. And you really did.
Yes, I've been working on UEDs for the past 5 years.
I meant Robocop. He's proved once again that he's still the top player.
Excuse me? It just barged in here and started accusing me of conspiracy without a shred of proof. It is not stable.
I have Wendell's confession.
Oh, do you mean the guy that's been harvesting human organs? Very reliable source. You keep forgetting that your organic components are the bane of my entire existence. They complicate things. I need a simple tool. A tool that I can control. And until this remote is in my hands, I have that... Oh!
Well, it's time for me to go. Thank you, Mr. Becker, for your presentation. I'll be watching the progress of your project. But until then, keep up the excellent work, Robocop.
And you better keep an eye on that remote.
Oh, what do you think? Bit of foreshadowing there? Because that's the principal difference between Robocop and the droids. He makes his own decisions. The droids don't. They do whatever the person holding the remote tells them to do. Uh-huh.
It's a new age, and you have to accept it. My robots are here to stay. Detroit will become the first city policed entirely by my machines. No brains, no glitching, total control.
So that's it? You just gonna replace us?
You've already been replaced, honey. Can't you see it?
What are you talking about? Murphy's one of us.
You're a little confused. That's Robocop you're talking about. Murphy's the guy who's legally dead.
That's it. We are going on strike.
We are cops. Cops do not go on strike.
That's the spirit, old-timer. I have important people to meet, multi-million-dollar contracts to sign. You know, the usual.
Well, that sucks. We can't just sit here and do nothing.
You can do something. Your cruiser needs cleaning after your last shift. If you have a hard time finding something to do, come to me. That goes for the rest of you too. Murphy, briefing room, now!
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that Becker's actually guilty of is being a dick. And unfortunately, that isn't illegal. Oh, a Delta City brochure. No poverty. True, the only people that can afford to live in Delta City are rich. No crime. Not sure about that. Certainly no blue-collar crime. And white-collar crime isn't the kind of crime that gets investigated by the people who own the police department.
First of all, I don't want to hear a word about those damn robots. We have a job to do. Now that the milk is spilled, we are looking for a mole in OCP that's been protecting Antonovsky. As hard as it is to believe, Becker is not that guy.
Yeah, but he's still a prick.
Sure is, but there's still a mole that we need to find.
It's gotta be the rookie.
I'm sitting right here.
So?
We start by asking the source.
What are you suggesting?
I pay Wendell a visit in jail.
Good thinking. You can try to squeeze a confession out of him.
If I get my hands on him, I will squeeze more than just a confession.
So, time to visit
Hey,
Antonovsky.
Murphy! That news lady's in the lobby waiting to talk to you.
Samantha Ortiz. Oh yeah, she was actually recording the Antonovsky arrest, but she never released the footage. The footage did show me momentarily glitching out. She might have not released it as a favor.
Robo, do you have a minute?
Yeah, sure. I've got a minute.
Listen, I wanted to say that I misjudged you. My crusade is against OCP. You were just collateral. So to extend an olive branch, I'd like to give you this.
What is it?
It's the tape of you glitching the other day at the mall. It's the only copy, so you can do whatever you want with it.
I am sure your TV station would love to play the tape.
Yeah, that's why you need to take it before I change my mind.
Thank you.
Now that I have you here, can I interview you as a consolation prize? They want me to ask you about the election. Seems that people value your opinion.
I would be happy to oblige.
Okay, roll the tape.
I'm guessing if I hadn't supported her OCP investigation, she would have released the footage.
I'm here at Metro West, conducting an interview with a man that needs no introduction. Robocop. One of the more contentious points brought up during the election is the construction of Delta City. Many believe that Delta City will destroy old Detroit. Mayor Cusack spoke at length about the illegal evictions that OCP has been planning in order to start the construction. Other candidates, namely John Mills, believe that Delta City is a chance to clean up the city. What are your thoughts on this subject? Is Delta City the future of old Detroit?
How do I answer this without getting involved in electioneering?
I would focus on current Detroit.
Thank you for clarifying your stance on this important topic. This has been Robocop for Channel 9. Samantha Ortiz, signing off. Thanks for the interview, Robo. We'll get out of your hair as soon as we're done packing up the equipment.
Just in case it wasn't obvious, by the way, the guy who was watching the presentation with Becker in the factory when he basically tried to have me wiped out by his droids, that was John Mills.
I saw Becker tear the rookie a new one for what he did at that factory. I wouldn't be surprised if he was already on the way out.
Mills, of course, is the OCP candidate to take over from Mayor Cusack at the upcoming elections. The one who's campaigning on full equal rights for cyborgs, ostensibly because of Robocop, but actually I'm pretty sure because the old man's dying And if he wants to retain control of OCP after his death, that means becoming a cyborg and having cyborgs being granted full legal human rights. So this is where Antonovsky's being held. It's an OCP prison, of course. Yep, they own the prisons as well and run them for profit.
Oh, gonna have to strip search you. Belt, keys, loose change, huh? I'm kidding. Just keep walking.
I don't think that was funny. Good to meet you, Robocop. The visiting room is at the end of the corridor.
The problem here is we don't really have any leverage over Antonovsky. I mean, what are we going to do? Just ask him nicely and hope he comes clean?
Good to see you in my prison, Robo. Did the inmates at the entrance welcome you properly?
I felt at home, almost.
I'm glad you're here. I want to ask you about the man you're here to see. The only thing I know is that he's no ordinary prisoner. OCP are keeping his record secret. So who is he?
If OCP are keeping Antonovsky's records hidden from the warden of an OCP prison, that suggests some high-powered connections within OCP itself.
He is a criminal awaiting his trial.
But I need to know who I'm dealing with. He's a demanding individual. There used to be peace in my prison, but now they're rabid dogs. He turned all the gangs against each other. So either OCP doesn't know who they're dealing with, or there's something fishy going on.
I suspect OCP knows more than they are telling. I'm here to verify that.
Ah, good. Come see me after your interview. I have a humble gift for you and your police friends for keeping my business alive.
If there was ever any doubt that Antonovsky was OCP, well, there isn't now. Look at the smug shit. He doesn't seem at all concerned that he's sitting in prison awaiting trial, does he? I got a bad feeling about this.
OCP funds you, but Becker is not your inside man. Who is?
You're not going to ask me how I'm settling in.
Answer me.
Places like this do me good. I even quit smoking, you know. The trick is to keep your hands busy.
Fraternization with criminals is not embedded into my programming.
No, you're selling yourself short, Alex Murphy. You didn't expect to hear that name from me, did you? I used to think that erasing the memories of your past life would help you the way it helped me. Oh, but I was wrong. And I want to make it up to you by giving you that life back.
I am here to enforce the law, not to play your games.
But you wouldn't mind a game of baseball with your son again. The new OCP project is what will make this possible for you.
Is that why you needed all those dead bodies?
I could tell you more if you promise not to stick your nose in.
I want details of the project and the names of those involved.
Seems our time is up. But I wouldn't want to leave you empty-handed. So let me at least give you this. The project's called Afterlife. Tread carefully. It's the last chance for you and your family to be together again.
We have to take the prisoner back to his cell. Looks like a full-blown riot is going down.
Whatever is going on, this slime is involved.
Could be, but now we have to focus on the other prisoners. They're armed and storming the warden's office. We need your help. Robo?
I will turn them to the path of reform.
Now would you look at that? Somehow Antonovsky just instigated a prison riot and timed it for the exact moment when I arrived to ask him questions. Coincidence? Yeah, I'm going to go with probably not. But in order to get to the bottom of it, you're going to have to hang around for the next episode. In the meantime, I hope you're all having a great weekend. I hope you've all enjoyed this one. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.